Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast, episode 47. In this episode, I speak with my dear friend, Charlie Statires. I met Charlie here in Los Angeles at Playhouse West Acting School, and he's an amazing guy. Super talented, super creative. I've gotten to work with him on several projects, had several amazing discussions with him. So it was an honor to have him come do a sit-down in-person podcast, which is actually my first in-person podcast since my leg injury well over a year and a half ago. So this was a true treat, and Charlie actually brought some of his artwork in for the backdrop, which was a nice added touch. And I will apologize to Charlie right off the bat. Since I hadn't done this in a while and I forgot running cameras and sound at the same time, I lost about half the sound footage. Not the video footage, but the sound footage. So I had to cut this episode short, but there's still a lot of great conversation in it. And we'll have to just do a part 2. But thanks, Charlie. And the book of the episode is Teach Yourself to Live by C.G.L. Ducan, not sure how he pronounces that. You wouldn't think it's an amazing book or who needs to be taught how to live, but actually this is an incredible book. Breaks down just a lot of practical philosophies on life, from your work you do, how you spend your time, taking leisure time, how you really have to make conscious efforts to rest and put things down and actually just enjoy life. It's a really good book. I really enjoyed this, and it was really motivating for me to take a look at my life and to see where I can just become most efficient and get the most out of it and have the most fun. So that is Teach Yourself to Live by C.G.L. Ducan. And without further ado, here's my conversation with Charlie. Charlie Statires. Welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. This is surreal right now.
I mean, honestly, I remember watching Nick's and I forget her name, but anyways, I remember watching him. I'm so jealous right now. I want to be on his podcast.
Well, and you're in the in-person version of the podcast.
It feels even more special.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, it's so surreal to me because I was doing this before my leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then the leg injury happened, which has been over a year and a half ago. And I've been doing them on Zoom, and that part of me is just there's nothing like the in-person version.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. And then when the timing of you and I just lining up and you saying, yeah, let's do it, and you're bringing these paintings over, which we're going to get to, which are yours.
Yep.
By the way, quick plug, Reynaldo Masters. And now that we're sitting here doing it, it's all right, everything's working out the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
We were talking about timing.
Well, yeah. It feels like every time I'm talking to you, it's it could be a podcast. The topics we talk about, it's we just come to these revelations about things, and every time we talk is we just come to some sort of I don't know. I remember we were talking outside the other day, and it was you're oh, it's been an hour. I'm what? An hour? I feel it was 5 minutes,
That's really how, honestly, to me, that's what you just described is that to me is what I get a high on in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel we're all on these individual journeys.
Yeah.
On our own thing, but then we come together at certain times. Sometimes for long periods of time, sometimes for short periods of time, but I call them check-ins.
Yeah.
And, at Playhouse West, I can't tell you where we met.
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you how many times where I'd go out of class thinking I'm going to have a 2-minute conversation with somebody, and it's an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
But I would be so energized
and
would feel so good because this connection with this soul that you just talked to got whatever it is you were going through, or you get whatever they're going through. You speak
but
the
it's
same language.
You guys are going through the same thing too. It's so the people who you cross paths with, that's I've noticed out in LA at least, and even anywhere, I've just noticed a lot of the people are going through the same thing, not the same thing, but a similar thing that's kind of on your mind or something that you're going through, and it's I don't know, either something you'll say something or they'll say something and you'll just have something solved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I love about LA, because LA is it's a place where you can go to be whatever you want. No one's going to judge you for it. Like everyone's an actor.
Yeah.
Everyone's an artist. You could be a civil engineer downtown, but if you tell them like, I do pop art on the side, or I'm in this play this weekend. No one like bats an eye.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, yeah. Other cities it may be a little bit different, but the other thing too is like there's the same mentality, the same mind frame, kind of a same, maybe not the exact same for everybody, but I would call it like the same realm of viewpoint of perspective of life. And not the typical path is for everyone. Most of us out here, like we all came here because we didn't want that.
Yeah, typical path.
So let's take it back here for a second. I'll never forget right down there. By the way, I
actually walked by today and I had to tap on the door because I was like, I just touched the mic. Hopefully I didn't fuck something up. But I just had to tap on the door and be like, thank you.
We're talking about Playhouse West.
Yep.
And in particular, the studio off Lancashire down there, where you and I met. I believe it was my night too.
It was.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Your night. I don't know if you want to count the audit.
I audited, had a class. Correct. That was my third night.
Yeah. Because I remember I was sitting next to you because I was to go up the first day.
Yeah.
To do the repetition or whatever, like.
Yeah. And I'll never forget, man, you sitting next to me. I've told this story to so many people. I'll tell you why. Like, you sit next to me, and you're like, hey, I'm Charlie. Hey, I'm Sam. Where are you from? Like, from New Hampshire, out east or whatever. I just moved here. I'm like, oh, yeah, and you're like, yeah. I'm like, how old are you? You're like, 19. I'm like, 19? Wow. And you're like, yeah, I was in school, and I just left and came to L.A. And I remember thinking, like, that's the mentality. Like, that's the difference between a lot of other places and people, man. Like, I want to get into that with you, like, because it's like, I have so much respect for that, because to be able to take that leap of faith like that and to leave that environment of like, you got to go to school, you got to go to college, you got to do this, this, and this, and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to go out to Los Angeles and pursue acting. And
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, the story goes like this, I guess. Like, I was just in college, and one day I woke up. No, I was auditioning for a play in college, and again, going off that like point about like you'll come across somebody or you'll meet somebody for a certain amount of time, and they'll give you what you need, or God will talk through them. I guess the universe will talk through them. And I was in college for like my first semester, kind of the first week of the second semester, and there was this RA, and I remember I was auditioning for the play and got the call back, and it's funny. The whole audition thing was so funny. I didn't know how to sing, and I was saying happy birthday. I was like, this is weird. But anyways, there was this dude, my RA, he was this very like introspective type of guy. And I was just like, I wasn't feeling so good that day, and I was kind of like walking around. And I remember that night I went on to walk in the woods. You go to the woods if you need some sort of like help. But I remember just like coming back, and he was on his way somewhere, and he's like, "Hey, you good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." Kind of like faking it. But he just was like, "Hey, come to like my room in like 30 minutes," and I did, and didn't tell him anything that was kind of going through my brain about like acting, modeling, like and he was like, hey, like if you're wanting to be an actor, you go to Los Angeles, And I was like, how the fuck did you know that was like, I literally like never told anybody like that was like my deepest like desire, passion, like. And he was like, yeah, you go to LA, you just like, that's what you do, you just go. And I was just like, it was like a God moment, And the next morning, woke up at like 6 in the morning to go to the callback, or like 5 in the morning, and it was just one of those moments where I was just like, if I'm gonna act, I'm gonna act. I'm gonna go to Los Angeles, and took the train out of the college, and literally took the train across the country. And
you took a train out here?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that, dude. Yeah, took a train, and I didn't. And the thing,
that's even better.
Yeah, took a train 5 days. The thing is, like, I didn't tell my parents. Because, my parents would have done anything to, like, be like, get the fuck back here, you know? Told them when I was in, like, Philadelphia or something, and they freaked out. But, yeah, and then I ended up in Los Angeles, and 5 days later, meet you, and, yeah,
dude,
crazy.
That story's even better now. Like,
yeah.
that he does.
Yeah. I mean, like, I honestly, like, my first 5 days in Los Angeles was, like, the most crazy, like the craziest days. I literally got banned from Universal for a year on my 3rd day out here.
For what?
So, you know the...
Universal, like, right down there?
Yeah, Universal Studios. So, I was trying to get to, like, the theme park. And I didn't know, like, I was walking and I didn't know the area. And so the studio part where, like, you know where NIFA is?
No.
So you know where Warner Brothers Studios are?
Yes.
And you're heading down, like, I think, Barham?
Okay, I vaguely know that. Yeah.
There was that, like, Cloud9 set store right there.
Okay.
Maybe they're building, like... So anyways, it was a part of the lot. And I remember I was on the map, looking on the map. I was like, oh, the theme park's right here. I have to walk, like, through this to get to the theme park. And I remember I was, like, walking across the street, and this guy opened up the gate. I walked through the gate. He just, like, opened it for me, and I walked into the lot. And then I was like, where the fuck am I right now? And I go up to a security guard, and I was like, hey, can you, like, help me out here? I'm trying to get to the theme park. And he's like, can I see a ID badge? I'm like, oh, I don't have one. I'm just trying to get to the theme park. And he's like, okay, come here. And I walk over to him to his booth, and literally 5 minutes later, like, 4 police cruisers show up. They all get out, and they're, like, interrogating me, like, what do you want? Like, heading to the casting? I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get this, like, my 3rd day. I'm, like, freaking out. I'm, like, 19, and I'm just like, please, like, don't arrest me or anything. They're like, well, we would arrest you, but, like, we're just gonna write you a ticket, and you're gonna be banned from Universal for a year. So then every time I had an audition in Universal, the studios literally had to, like, clear me for, like, an hour. I, like, couldn't go to the audition. They were like, you have to sit here for an hour so before you go in so we could clear you.
Dude,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be sweet when you land that first big, huge Universal gig, right?
I know.
Yeah, that's
or
crazy.
If it ever happens, if they're just like, this guy's fucking crazy,
You get, like, to, like, the final stage of the audition,
yeah.
and they're like, you know, we were going to pick you,
yeah.
but we pulled up your file.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went with somebody
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, how has the experience been for you? Because it's been 4.5 years.
Yeah, 4.5 years.
If you could, like, for someone that has no idea about your experience out here, how would you sum it up for them?
I mean, I feel like I, like, learned life. You know, I just, like, obviously, like, I took, like, an alternate type of route than going, like, college and everything, but I feel like I really invested myself in experiencing life, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, the people who I've met, the experiences I've had, like, even, like, you know, it's been, you know, kind of like the starving artist type of lifestyle, but, like, it's been, like, when I got out here, I was living in the back of a yoga studio for, like, 6 months, and kind of, like, I was just kind of scrapping along each month, and, you know, that taught me a lot, even though it was kind of, like, difficult, but, like, you know, we all have our difficulties and everything like that, but, like, you know, I feel like that just really, really taught me a lot about just being a human being in general, and, like, you know, just experiencing a lot of life out here.
Yeah.
And I think, like, a lot of people would benefit from this. You know, just, like, kind of, like, diving yourself in something that's, like, not so certain or secure, and just trying to, like, go for it. And it was kind of, like, you know, a lot of fear, but, like, kind of, like, this is something my therapist was saying, was, like, you know, like, confidence, or wait, no, courage. There's no courage if there isn't fear. So it was kind of like, you know, there was a lot of times where I was, like, afraid of doing something, but, like, it was kind of, like, breaking out of my, like, comfort zone. And I'm such a different person. I don't know who I would be if I didn't come out here. Like, it, like, shaped me.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that in terms of, you know, because I've lived, you know, how many cities since my home city? Really, like, 3 different places. Los Angeles being the most recent one.
What was the other one? Los Angeles?
Las Vegas, Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, no way.
Tucson, Arizona was for like a year.
Okay.
Which, again, definitely counted, but Vegas more so was like, there's a piece of Vegas in me for the rest of my life.
I'm sure, yeah.
The people, the experiences, just the culture, the everything is ingrained in me. And now with Los Angeles, now been about 4.5 years, it's like, now that's a piece of me. No matter where I go, no matter if I'm in Los Angeles for the rest of my life or if I move and never come to Los Angeles again, that someone had said that to me too. Like these, I think it was Marshall Wayne on an earlier podcast had said like these cities and experience, it's a piece of you goes with it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for you to get that at that age, because I did the whole 4 years of college thing. Then it was after college where I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I got to go. This isn't whatever, nothing wrong with this, but I know that there's something for me out west.
Yeah.
But I have always wondered, like, what if I just would have came out earlier? Even, I mean, look, my Las Vegas experience was what it was, but I'm like, what if I would have came to LA sooner or there? But it's like, everything happens for a reason. You and I have both read The Alchemist.
Yeah.
We were talking about it on the balcony the other night. It's like, I'm learning to accept more of just whatever the current situation is. And it's not that you're not working toward improving yourself or stuff like that, but there's just certain things that are out of your control. And just kind of being, just being present and just allowing it to be. Yeah. And I like that you brought up courage and fear in that book, Letting Go, sitting over there. Like he talks a lot about that. And how you can turn that fear into courage. Yeah. And
that's something I have to remind myself of because it's like, you know, I think just like growing up where I grew up, it was like, oh, you're afraid of this? Like, what are you, a pussy or something? But it's like, yeah, I'm afraid of it. Like, and then like out of that fear, that's like, it's kind of like the hero's journey. Like, if you're going to be like, kind of like not acknowledging that you're afraid of something, how are you going to move forward to progress? How are you going to like overcome difficulty? You know, and that's something where I've had to realize it's like, things aren't going to be so smooth sailing. Like you have to like being courageous is being courageous, you know, like people, like I feel like you see these like, you know, people who are like celebrities and stuff, and you know, it's kind of like viewed as like, oh, they're like these like people who just, you know, don't have these human attributes like to them, like fear and everything. They're not afraid of anything, but like I'm sure they do, you know, like they're just really courageous people to be pursuing what they're pursuing and putting themselves in those situations. And fear is such a natural thing. That's something I've had to like really remind myself of.
Yeah, it creates so many. And he was talking about in the book, Letting Go. And there's something else I want to say off what you just said, but fear, like a lot of negativity, all comes from fear. Like all of it, jealousy, possessiveness,
for sure.
Just tendencies and like erratic behaviors, it comes from fear. So if you can turn that into courage, it's amazing how a lot of that just goes away. And going to the celebrity thing you were saying, it's like, it's a spell celebrity. Like people in social media has just amplified that to the fullest. But it's like the hero's journey. He talked about it in, I don't know if it was The Hero with 1,000 Faces or which book it was, but he basically said, like, everyone loves the idea of, like, Jesus Christ, the idea of the knight in shining armor. Yeah. It sounds great on paper after it's all over, but the actual people that were the heroes, it was brutal. Yeah. It was complete hell. There was no glory. Yeah. Like, Christ was crucified, like, terribly, like, gruesomely. The knight goes through hell to go slay the dragon, but it all looks good, the story sounds good, but the actual going through it is not glorious. And that's the thing about Hollywood and LA. It's like people see the photo shoots. They go on Instagram and saw that you were just in whatever video or whatever, this, that, and that, but they don't see the other side. Yeah. You know,
the thing is, like, I feel like for, like, you know, I'm on, you know, seeing all these people, like, booking stuff, like, you know, like, glamorized and stuff, and it's like, you like, I feel like people like want that lifestyle, but then it's kind of like, I don't know, like the lifestyle of, like, you know, just like, I feel like I'm I'm my own character, you know, like, and I remember like listening to a Brene Brown thing where it's like the person like the person who like when you watch a movie or read a book, like these guys aren't like going through life easy and stuff. Like that's why you're invested in them. Like, and it's for me, it's like I'm not saying I want to struggle, but it's like I want to like make this life, experience this life, even if it's like I don't want to like. And it's all about the journey. I think that's what you have to remind yourself of. And yeah, it's like I feel like people. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to comment on like other people and stuff because I don't know what they're in like what they have going on and stuff. And but as for like just for me, like I just like I want to create this like this at the end of the day when I'm like 80 years old, I want to like look back and be like be able to tell these stories to people and be like kind of just like to be a character like a Don Quixote. Like I fucking love Don Quixote for that purpose. Like he went after this life of knighthood. Everyone thought he was crazy, but I would love to be Don Quixote. You know, like he has so many stories to tell, and he was a madman. But that's just I feel like who I want to be. I want to be the madman. You know,
dude. I still need to read that book.
It's great.
Isn't it like 900 pages?
Dude, thick. Yeah. It took me. I think I started it during the pandemic. Got 500 pages in, stopped for like a good year, picked it back up, and I was like, I gotta get through this. But there's 2 books in the book. Like there's the author wrote the first part, which is like the first book, and I guess there was another dude who wrote a second book, and he was like, oh fuck this guy, like I need to write this. Like this guy like doesn't know who Don Quixote is. Like why would he write a book? And he ended up writing a second part to the book and everything like that, and it's very funny. Like he like roasts the guy in the book. It's very like you would have to read it. It's
so he basically
funny.
Read this guy's book and then says, "All right, I'm going to add on to this."
Well, no. So yeah, the guy. So like, Miguel something. Forget his name, but he wrote the original book, and then this guy like decided to write a second part for the book, like this random guy, and then Miguel or whatever his name is, like was like I would be like, why the hell are you writing my book again? And so like what he did was he wrote another part, and in the book, he like uses like references from the other book and the author's name and just like roasts the shit out of him.
That's hilarious.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. And wasn't it written like in the 1500s or something like that? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's not going to be the book of the episode because I haven't read it yet, but we're definitely going to go there. So I wanted to get this in while we're here. Dude, these paintings, like this doesn't even do justice here. And you have like 1,000 more. Man, when you told me like kind of casually, like, I do some paintings and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah? And I was like, yeah. And then you showed me a couple. I'm like, dude, that's like really good. And you're like, yeah, I got a website. I'm like, oh yeah, what's your website? Then I go on your website. I'm like, dude, Charlie, like, what the heck? And then, I hope I can say it, a.k.a. Reynaldo Masters.
Of course.
Your alter ego, if you will. How did that happen?
Like,
because you're like amazing.
Oh, thank you. Like what? Just the paintings or Reynaldo Masters?
Well, okay, maybe both. And just to plug you again, like you've done art shows out in LA now, which were incredible. Like this is all outside of acting and modeling and all that. Like this like hit me out of left field. Like somebody, and it's kind of like when I saw your soccer, how good you were at soccer.
Yeah.
But this even went above that. Like this is like, dude, how did this happen?
I mean, I think it was like about a year ago I don't know, 2 years ago, but like if we're going all the way back, I guess the first thing I've ever did was that scene from Red with Eric, and during like the whole preparation for it and everything, like we painted together, and just a magical experience. Is actually right here in this apartment. Yeah. But and then like during the pandemic, was kind of painting a little bit, but nothing really came of it, and not came of it, but I was like, it was kind of just like a fun thing I was kind of trying to do. And then like when I was dating my past girlfriend, it just kind of like I was kind of like painting a lot, and ended up like this one's one of my earlier ones, but I remember my brother was in town, and I was just super pissed one day. I was just like annoyed, and like brother type of stuff, like just kind of angry, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to Hobby Lobby, buying this like big canvas, and I'm just gonna like do something to it. And I just remember doing it, and kind of just like, honestly, I wasn't confident about my painting. I wasn't confident about I was just like, it's kind of just a hobby and everything. And my past girlfriend, she was just like, you're like really good. You got to keep doing this. I was like, all right, whatever. But just kept on doing it, and it's just like something fun I like to just kind of do. And it's like a diary, I guess, for me. Like a lot of my paintings will have words on them and phrases, and it just kind of like is just a place where I can just get things out there, where like acting for me, like it gets stuff out there, but not like everything, not thoughts, and you can't really create like a film with it, but like it just kind of like is able to just, I'm able to like make something that's not so cohesive like a film, and just like, I don't know, tell a story, I guess. Like not really a story, but like an emotion maybe. If when someone looks at it, make them feel something. So yeah. And Reynaldo Masters came about because I remember I was sending my friend from back in New Hampshire. I remember I was sending letters to him, like weird letters and stuff, and I would the sender address, I would do Reynaldo Masters.
Just made that name up.
Yeah. And I think Joe Burns, I sent this. It was funny because I sent this postcard to him. It was like of Mount Rushmore, and I remember sending him this postcard, Reynaldo Masters. It was like, meet me in Mount Rushmore. Like I have to like tell you something, or some like decrypted like message or cryptic code or something. And I remember he was freaking out about it. I was like, who sent me this? What? Who's Reynaldo Masters? And I remember I took a picture of it before I sent it to him. And I remember like a month later, I went over to his place. He's like, dude, you have to check this out. And his roommate, like his girlfriend and their roommates were freaking out about it. I was like, all right, I have to come clean about this. This was me. And he's like, no, this isn't you. I'm like, yeah, it is. And I show him the picture. He's like, I still don't believe you. But yeah, I was kind of like just using it as like a funny name, and it kind of was like, it'd be cool if I can like have like an artist name. And it was kind of originally was like, I don't want people to know it's me. Like I want Charlie removed from it. I just want to be like this person. I'll have like an actor do Reynaldo Masters if they need it. But I was like, fuck it. It's just I'm known as Reynaldo Masters now, so.